Hey folks, well today I want to talk to you, just a real quick video. I want to talk to you about the difference between birch oil and birch tar. Um, it, there seems to be a little bit of confusion as to what is birch oil and what is not. And the process is very similar to make birch tar as opposed to birch oil. It just depends on how long you burn it for and sometimes the environmental conditions that you're doing it in. Before I do that though, I want to show you a couple of items that I've received from LT Wright knives. I went and visited his knife shop, got some more stuff in A2 steel. Alright guys, so the first knife I want to show you is the No Name knife. I understand this was, I don't want to say it was a mistake, but I guess I don't know 100% the story on this, but it's A2 steel, looks to be more like a saber grind, but I'm really intrigued with these smaller knives now. I love my Gen 6, but it's nice to have a backup knife to a larger knife. And once again, here's the Gen 6. It's now available at knife dealers out there. It's just basically a Genesis with 2 inches extra added onto the blade. And for me, it makes it just a huge improvement on the wood processing capabilities of that knife. But anyway, it's nice to have something that is a backup to that, you know, very similar to a pocket knife, but a pocket knife has just so many limitations to it. So anyway, this is a No Name, they call it. The handle, you can tell the handle goes right to the end of my hand. I just love knives. So I mean, this is a really cool design. This, I've got it with a dangler sheath. On to the next. I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of knives here today, but I love LT's work. I decided to have this one done in Kydex. It's got some nice white rivets there that I asked for. This one I believe is called a Frontier First. Now this one, the handle doesn't go quite as far, but this is more what I'm looking for. I was asking LT to build me a smaller knife, and I think he's already built it. The Frontier First here at A2 steel again. This is basically a pocket knife style, or pocket knife sized fixed blade knife that I'm just going to use the absolute living heck out of. You know, you can contact LT for the details. It looks to me like it's about an 1/8 inch at most of A2 steel. Looks to be a full flat grind with a secondary bevel on it. I didn't ask a lot of details. I'm not one of those knife guys that knows all the grinds and all that stuff. I look at something, I know what I like, I know it's going to work for me. This is going to work great. This is going to be a great fish filleter, mouse slayer, whatever you want to do. So recently I was at the Pathfinder gathering, and I was able to secure some land and make some birch oil. I did 3 different burns. I did one very short burn, about an hour, and the ground was very wet. And I've said this in my other videos with birch oil, if your ground is wet, you're going to get water in your birch oil. I burned it for an hour, I got nothing but water. I got a little tiny bit of oil, but not even anything worth basically salvaging, just enough to show folks about what the oil looks like, but a lot of water. The other 2 burns, I did one fairly slow burn, not really, I mean it was still a pretty cooking fire, but I did it for about 2.5 hours, and then I did another one that was at the end pretty darn hot. And I've already used actually a bit of this oil, but I've got this whole jelly jar full of oil. And I mean, it worked out really good. And normally, like I've said in the past, I'll let it settle and I'll have the water in the bottom. I don't know if it can't mix because it's oil, but at first I had a little bit of water in there. I don't know if it evaporated or what happened, but it's gone now. This is some tar that I made in the past. I think I made it last year. I'll show you the oil here in just a minute, a little closer look. But you can tell it is oil. It does run back and forth a little bit, but it's a lot thicker. And this is actually some decent oil here. It's a little bit thicker than what I like, but you can see it's going to drip here any second. And then the bottom of this is tar. Tar is, if you can imagine, it's very similar to the material that you use on your roof. I forget what we call it now, blackjack or something. It comes in a caulking tube, and you seal your roof or whatever with it. The oil is much runnier, much more runnier. That's not exactly the way you say it, but anyway, you know what I mean, much thinner, and it's more like a 30 weight motor oil. And this stuff, you can see that, right? This is birch oil, okay? You can boil this down further and make a tar or make a glue out of it. I'm pretty sure I have a video on that as well. Boil it down until it stops bubbling, and then all it does is just smoke, and then you'll have an oil. Whereas the tar, and that will make your tar. Whereas the tar, see, I can feel some chunkies in there. It's got, actually I must have mixed some of this in there, but you can see the chunks in there. Okay, the chunks there are tar. That's tar. Okay? So anyway, there was just a little bit of confusion on the difference between tar and oil, and I just thought I'd clear that up. Okay, so getting back to the tar, I've made tar in the past on accident mostly, from either burning it too hot or for too long or for a combination of both. And the reason I've done that is sometimes trying to boil the water out of the oil rather than trying to siphon it out with an eyedropper. And my eyedropper's pretty darn messy now, but usually the water, if you get water in it, it will settle on the bottom because oil floats on top of water. And I will take this eyedropper and I will slowly remove the water, and then till I'm just now at the oil. And there are definite benefits to both the tar and the oil. The oil, from my research, is more medicinal than the tar. The tar is already boiled down to where you can make it more of a waterproofing type thing. Like, I'm not an expert or anything, but I'm pretty sure that's how the Indians, or the Native Americans rather, waterproof their birch bark canoes. They used more of a tar because the oil's not going to stick together. It's not going to waterproof. It will waterproof wood and leather, but it's not going to seal the seams of a birch bark canoe, whereas birch bark glue or birch tar would do a much better job at that. So anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of information on that. Like I said, there seemed to be a little bit of confusion. If in doubt, just burn your container at a lower temperature, and just don't do it for 3 to 4 hours. Do it for 2.5, maybe 3 hours, but don't go 4 to 5 to 6 hours, and you won't end up with tar. So anyway, I hope that helps you out. And yes, I wet formed my Gen 6 sheath and birch oil the living heck out of it. I love it. It's a unique smell. My wife doesn't like it, but I love it. All right, guys, take care.